Hey YouTube. Um, yo, so honestly, the last couple of years have been very trying for me. Um, so that's why I come here and, I talk about some of the things that I talk about. Um, I talk about them because I'm seeing more of the positive side of everything that's going on, and it brings me joy, even though I'm in a state of unhappiness. Not every day. Some days are better than others, but overwhelmingly, usually I'm neutral. But some days I'm depressed or I'm unhappy. And when I reflect on the things that are going on, and I also reflect on how my life has been, I know that this down period is just God setting me up for something that's much, much greater and much, much bigger than what my mind can fathom. So this morning when I was going for my walk, I was thinking, and sometimes when I think I'm thinking, I'm not thinking. I think it's God trying to communicate certain thoughts and ideas and concepts to me. Um, it's at these moments, these times when I wake up 4 a.m., 4:30, and I'm by myself on the computer and I'm researching things, or I'm taking runs, at that time, or whatever it is, I'm deep in thought. It's at these times when my mind gets sparked with all kinds of energy, with all kinds of things that ultimately, when I put into action, it propels my life forward. Um, so something like me talking on YouTube, I'm a very reserved person. You know, I don't speak in public. I stay to myself. I'm usually at home. Um, but it's important that I share some of these things with you because I realize that not just not it's not for my benefit, but it does help me kind of like detox and kind of like work through the my thought processes. This is a way. This is a way for me to document some of these things and, show that maybe a year from now, 2 years from now, 5 years from now, I can come back to these things and look at, what my state was. I can come back to these things and look at how God has manifested himself in my life. Um, I'm telling you that the only weapon that the devil has against you is to attack your belief in yourself. And to attack you, when they attack your belief in yourself, then you don't feel motivation to do some of the things that you have the power and abilities to do. Um, you know, a lot of times when you're gifted, you run into people, or you run into things and run into circumstances that, should, if everything were fair, would propel you, your life and your whole, would propel you forward. Um, but all too often, when you are gifted, what you happen is that you'll be thrust into the fire, and these fires are come in the forms of tests. They come in the forms of people. They come in the forms of, all sorts of chaos. You know, um, I was thinking about this thing this morning. Um, one of my friends and I were talking, and you know, he asked me, what is the meaning of life? Um, and that's an age-old question. Like we've all heard that question. Like, what are we doing in life? Um, and I really don't think like life is some people define this question about what's the meaning of life with what they do. and who they are and all these other things that are in the physical realm. But I really feel like life is an experience. I don't think that the person that's born a day, that's a day old, is any different from that person when they are 60 or 70 years old. We don't change. The only people that are able to change are those people that go through the hard work of actually changing themselves. And it's incredibly hard. And 99% of people don't want to do it. 99% of the people are incapable of doing it. So you find that, you know, there are only a couple of people that are ultimately able to reach, you know, when they sleep and when they dream, the things that they see in their head, some people are not even they're not even bold enough to speak these things, because if they speak it, somebody might call them crazy, or somebody might, laugh at them, and rather than be laughed at or ridiculed, they'd rather shut up. That's the resistance. The resistance is somebody not giving you up an opportunity because of the color of your skin, or because of the way you speak, or because of the size of your body, or because of whatever gender you are, right? The opposition is somebody hating you, or you hating yourself. Let's talk about that. Self-hate, you know, self-hate. I deal with this on a consistent basis, self-hate. And it's rooted in your habitual tendencies. You know, just look at the things that you be cognizant of the things that you do on a daily basis, and you'll be amazed how much self-hate that you perpetrate on yourself. Forget what the world says. What are you doing to yourself? I'll tell you, because I'm trying to make my life an open book, and hopefully this will help somebody. Um, at my heaviest, I was 324 pounds. And I can tell you that I was much heavier than that. There were times where I was much heavier than that. And you don't grow to be that weight if you love yourself. Because the person that loves themselves knows when to say no. They know when to, not overindulge. Um, they know not to eat something that they know is ultimately not beneficial to their life. You know, um, so you must be in tune with yourself. You must be in tune with yourself in a way that you are constantly trying to improve yourself. Um, if you improve yourself, your situations de facto must improve. And it's hard to do because you have all these outside things that are opposing you, right? All these things that are trying to pull you back whilst you're also trying to, move forward. But it's like exercise, right? If you determine that I'll have to do 30 push-ups every day, and I wake up and I don't feel like doing it, and I say, hey, okay, I'm not going to do it today, and the next day I try to do it again, it makes that situation harder. Try it. If you do push-ups or whatever exercise, the more you hold on to that streak, the easier it gets. As you start to take your foot off the pedal, it gets harder. you know. So in life, we must, I heard Mike Tyson say, discipline is doing what you don't like you love it. And I'm telling you, anybody that you love, anybody that you admire, anybody that you look up to, all these people have incredible discipline. Well, not all of them, but the people that I love and admire, the people that I look up to, man, they have incredible discipline. Like I remember yesterday I was thinking about Kobe Bryant, and remember when I was younger, I didn't like him because I thought he was a ball hog and this and this and that. You know, that was completely baseless. Now I realize that the reason why I didn't like him is because he had such a high work ethic. And if you have a high work ethic, you rub people the wrong way. Because in some ways, we are always comparing ourselves to people, right? So when I look at Kobe Bryant and I look at how hard he works, I know I'm not willing to put in that amount of work. Listen to the stuff that he says. You know, he goes he practices 5 6 times a day, 2 hours a day. Yeah, 2 hours a session. You know, he was totally dedicated to his craft, and that will rub somebody the wrong way because you know 99% of people would rather be on the couch. They'd rather be on the couch and tell you how, if you missed, a 3.0 or whatever it is, how they would have made it if they were in the same position. But come on, you're sitting on the couch. So understand, when you are doing something that's monumental, when you're doing something that pushes the envelope forward, you are going to be met with a lot of resistance because this is not the norm. You're doing something that's outside the norm, and nobody wants to be, outshined. They'll tell you, man, forget about that dream. It's never going to work. They'll tell you that. But the way I want you to analyze that situation is this. The person that told you that, have they tried it? Right? For one, have they tried what they're trying to tell you will not work? And two, if they have tried it, were they successful or unsuccessful? And another thing you have to understand that just because they were successful or they were unsuccessful, that doesn't mean that, however their results were, those are going to be your results. Right? Because you have to understand we're all under different blessings of God. Cain and Abel, they all presented sacrifices. Let's say that's work. They all did their thing. But God chose to look more favorably on Abel's sacrifice than Cain's. Because God doesn't judge on results. He judges based on what you're doing, how your heart works, how hard you're working. And sometimes what happens is that the blessings that we don't feel we deserve, that's exactly what God gives us. Man, a lot of times I kept talking to myself and I was telling myself, man, I'm dumb, I'm not worthy, So because of that, I held myself back in all these areas of endeavor. You know how many years I've been trying to start a YouTube channel? I'm dealing with self issues. I'm not handsome enough, or I'm too ugly. I'm too fat. I got a gap in my tooth. My clothes don't be looking right, or whatever. All these petty, stupid things that we creep up in our mind to hold us back. These are the things that, you know, they make our world. That's why it's incredibly important to censor what you watch. It's incredibly important to censor what you hear, what you see, what you say, what you touch, the people that are around you, the environments that you put yourself in. Yo, one of the best times I've had was when I was sitting at home by myself, all alone. Then I started to hear God's voice. 2 days ago, he said, I felt an urge to open the Bible, and I went to Genesis 1:1, and it says that the earth was formless and it was dark. And God said he created light. So the first thing that God created was light. And what did Jesus say? I am the light. So in all of us, we have this light, right? But what the world does is try to suppress that light. They try to cover that light. But if you choose to let your light out, the light will drive away the darkness. It will open for you a path that you have no business being on. It will open for you doors that you can't imagine. You will be able to do and say things that you have no knowledge about. This has been my experience. I don't read. I'm not particularly smart, but I don't feel intellectually, I don't feel inferior to anybody. I don't feel there's anything that I can't do. I don't feel like there's any skills I can't pick up. Because I have this utter belief in myself. Regardless of what anybody says, to me, my track record proves that the things that, where I venture into things where, I have no knowledge about, I'm able to pick up these skills that ultimately results in some level of success that makes me proud of myself. Again, my barometer is not to compare myself to anybody else. I'm here trying to compare myself to me. I'm not out here trying to get rich, because to me, happiness is more important than rich. How many people have millions of dollars, billions of dollars, and they end up killing themselves? They end up overdosing on drugs. They end up getting divorced. Treating other people like shit. If you're supposed to be so happy and you have all this money, why do you need to, treat anybody else? A person that's in a state of bliss has no time to be thinking about anybody else in any type of way, especially to inflict some kind of harm to them. So we live in these, first world countries where, they look at all these metrics. Your GDP is this and all of that. And all these things are not a metric for happiness. Some of the poorest people in the world are the happiest. So we know that money is not the answer. But we live in this world where, a woman won't date a man because he doesn't make enough money. Or another man won't associate himself with another man because he's broke. You won't give him respect. For me, happiness is the ultimate currency. I used to be that person that used to think about making all those untold sums of money. You know, I used to be that person that wanted to drive the biggest car and have, you know, Rolexes and all this other stuff. But man, you came in this world with nothing and you leave with nothing. So you're just passing through. So for me, my realization tells me that I need to be able to make the experience of life, you know, a fulfilling one. And money doesn't fulfill me. You know, in my downtime, I gained skills. You know, I started doing things that, you know, brought me happiness. You know, when the devil is taken away, God is filling in. And you see, another great thing I want to point out to you about God is this, right? Anytime that something is taken away from you, he always replaces, as long as you remain faithful and don't lose your way, he replaces it in orders of magnitude. He won't say, hey, you know, you lost a job that pays you 50,000, so I'm going to give you another job that pays you 50,000. No. He replaces that with a business. You know, that allows you to make 500,000. That allows you to make 1,000,000. You know, when you lose an opportunity, the next thing you know, an opportunity that you were chasing, the next thing you know, you have 5 or 6 opportunities that are chasing you, and they are much more lucrative. So you just need to stay humble, stay believing in yourself. Let the world keep doing what they do. Understand that God is present in your life, and he's not going to ever forsake you. So you must not forsake him, because that's what the world is trying to do. They're trying to dim your light, and in trying to dim your light, they are separating you from God. So I'm gonna end this. This is 22 minutes, and I hope this touched you in some way, and I want you to get up today, and all those dreams that you have, pick one and chase it. Chase it for a year, chase it for 2 years, but chase it, because ultimately we're all gonna die, and you don't want to die without, you know, manifesting some of these brilliant ideas that you have in your head. Some of these things you might think are stupid, like me, honestly, me talking to you on YouTube, I think is stupid, but who knows what this thing is gonna birth. I don't know, but I trust God. Have a lovely day. All right, cool. Bye.